Hello everybody, welcome to the 9th video in my Antonio Sledge series. This is going to be the culmination of several of the prior videos, most specifically the most recent one in which I show that the state was relying upon the wrong version of Antonio's plea agreement. It presented the wrong plea agreement to the court, and you can probably watch this one without having seen that video, but you'll definitely have more color for this video if you watch that one first. But yes, this is the day. This video is going to review the day on which the state showed a video of parts of Antonio Sledge's guilty plea hearing. And what I'm going to explain to you is how deeply misleading their edits and manipulations of the video were. And I'm also going to prove that Max Schardt is a genius along the way. So here we go. This first clip's going to be the morning of day 124. The state is going to explain that it's created this morning, by the way, the morning of 124. They created and sent an edited video of Antonio Sledge's guilty plea hearing from December of 2022. And the hearing is September of 2024. So it's almost 2 years later.
Your Honor, the state has now sent to counsel for the defendants and to the court, I believe you just the edited version so that there's no starting, stopping, or muting. It has the portions we referenced that we intended to tender as either a prior inconsistent statement, contradiction. It has what we referenced.
Okay, well, I wasn't able to access it because I don't have the permissions, but I mean, I can tell what
Did you send that?
parts, I think. Is there an objection to that?
So, Your Honor, we have not reviewed the edited version. So, because we
All right, well, I'm going to assume that what Ms. Love says is in there and out is what's in there and what's out. So let's just take her at her word as an officer of the court.
Okay.
And
we, as I understand it, the state's attempting to introduce this as prior.
No comment. I'm going to skip ahead to another issue. Let me see here.
Okay. Is the edited version, has the law and crime been taken out? Okay.
so this is just essentially going to be him swearing to tell the truth, identifying himself, and then it's going to be the factual acknowledgments that he says, no, these aren't true. And then the sentencing understandings or whatever that he says, I didn't understand any of that at the time. And then the bottom that's where he says, I have read and carefully considered all of this and I've made any changes I want to, and this is all true.
What it has is, in addition to that, so it has the very beginning where he raises his hand and swears.
We don't need to listen to this part. That's basically, Judge Whitaker just basically explained what the video is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a complete portrayal of the guilty plea hearing, where Antonio, swears to various things being true. There are a million issues with that, but we've explored those in past videos. Basically, the video is just supposed to be a complete but slightly redacted portrayal of that 2022 hearing. So we're going to skip ahead now. 254. Let me see here. And we are going to take a look at the beginning of the video.
All right, we're on the record in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Antonio Sledge in 22 SC 183572. Good afternoon, Mr. Wright.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sledge.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
And good afternoon, counsels Love and Hilton.
Love and Hilton. I just want to show that part. The same two attorneys that were at this hearing in 2022, that's on the screen now, were also present in the courtroom in 2024 when they're showing the, edited version of this video. So they were there. They know exactly what happened at that hearing. So this isn't a case of, mistakenly, misunderstanding or misconstruing what happened. They were there for the whole thing. Let's see, you can jump ahead to Max being a genius. Here we go.
States 1AS is count 1, 15 years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until years on probation, and count 30, sentencing.
We might need to skip forward to.
We might need to skip forward 2 seconds. Surely those 2 seconds aren't the two most critical seconds in the entire video. Surely.
Seconds. Try that.
I'll also note the time there at 6:40.
The agreement is not captured. I'm going to object to skipping forward. I'll see.
Let's see.
Max is completely correct. As you'll see in a second. But listen to what his specific objection was.
Is not captured. I'm going to object to skipping forward.
One more time.
The agreement is not captured. I'm going to object to skipping forward.
The agreement is not captured. I'm going to object to skipping forward. I wonder if he's right.
I'll see.
Let's see.
Your Honor,
I'm not saying to skip anything substantially. I'm trying
Right.
to see if they can skip over the part where it's just repeating
skipping,
itself.
yes.
I'm not saying to skip anything of substance. I'm just saying skip the part where it's repeating. I wonder if they skipped anything of substance, as I just kind of told you a second ago. They did. Let's jump ahead to where they pick up. Here we go. This part maybe?
We're sharing through a different screen, and we're going to go ahead and pick up
On these charges.
at 6:40 where we stopped.
Going to pick up at 6:40 where we left off. That's what they said. Did they pick up at 6:40 or did they pick up at 6:42?
It has complied with the special conditions outlined in section B as in boy, C.
Let me explain to you how important those 2 seconds are. Make sure I have the right part queued up. Here we go. This is the transcript of the hearing. This is the part that they were just showing in the video. What was being shown was, I believe this was Love speaking. She says, the negotiated sentence is outlined in states 1AS is count 1, 15 years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until. That's all you hear. Well, I mean, it says that like 6 times because it was repeating. They skipped the 2 seconds that are underlined. Until the completion of the initial trial of this case, after the initial trial of this case, and then you hear, I believe it picks back up, provided defendant has complied with blah, blah, blah. So what they're skipping is until the completion of the initial trial of this case. It is the most important sentence in the entire hearing, by far. Because from that one sentence, you can look at the disposition. Let me rephrase that. From that, the underlined phrase, if you were to hear it and then look at the sentence that was imposed on Mr. Sledge, you can tell that the plea agreement that is being presented to the court is not the correct plea agreement. Let me explain to you how that is. This is the plea agreement that the court and the state was saying was the correct plea agreement. You can see that right here. Count 30, sentencing withheld until the completion of the initial trial of this case. And again, that's what's read here. They skipped completion of the initial trial of this case when they showed the video. If you look at the sentence, you'll see that sentencing was not withheld until the completion of the initial trial of the case. The sentence was actually imposed on count 30. So again, this is the sentence this is the plea agreement. Because the sentence has a sentence on count 30, this final disposition reflects the sentence on count 30, you know that this cannot be the correct plea agreement because this says you're not going to have a sentence on count 30. So just the existence of this sentence shows that you have the wrong plea agreement. And what did what did the state omit from the video? Until the completion of the initial trial of this case. So it says the negotiated sentence as outlined in 1AS, count 1, 15 years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until. They don't actually show the part that says until the completion of the initial trial of this case. If they'd played that clip and any of the defense lawyers had looked at the sentence that had been imposed on Antonio, that would be a major red flag. And because the video just happened to skip and miss those 2 seconds, as Max said very correctly, they did not show the entire agreement because those 2 incredibly critical seconds were skipped. Max was completely correct. Completely correct. And for the exact reason that he said. Now, I don't know if he knows that, but I'm going to give him credit for it anyway.